more interactive with the paintball community at large, you've heard that in California there is a piece of legislation that is threatening to go through that could make paintball a lot more difficult to enjoy for a lot of people. Now I'm going to read something, if it'll off of the Save Paintball in California Facebook page. Go ahead and search for it, look it up, like it, and then, read through the instructions and do what it says. But a little bit on the bill. The California Legislative is trying to pass SB Bill 798, which calls for imitation firearms, a classification that includes paintball markers, to be brightly colored, in order to distinguish them from real firearms. This is a serious concern to the paintball industry, which could require all paintball markers in speedball and scenario to be painted bright colors. Now, of course, in speedball, a lot of times things are already brightly colored and ridiculous and wonderful, but that should be our choice. It isn't up to someone sitting in a big, fluffy, squishy chair to decide what color my marker is going to be. Now, as I understand it, this wouldn't be retroactive. So if you already have your paintball markers, your marker would be fine because it would be grandfathered in. But any new markers would have to be ridiculously colored. This also goes for airsoft, and it might also include some other communities, depending on how the legislation goes. Now, for a lot of us, this wouldn't really be a big issue. But the thing is that it's some nitties, as I said, sitting in big, fluffy, squishy chairs, trying to walk all over us, and we can't let that happen. What we can do to stop this is, even if you're not in California, you need to go onto the Facebook page, you need to like it. They have a list of contact information for different representatives, and you need to get in contact with those representatives. You can email them, you can call their offices, leave messages, all of that, so that we can let them know that paintball is something that's extremely important to us. It's something that we want to keep preserved the way it is. And with them trying this, it's attempting to keep the community safe. And of course, we all want to live in a nice, safe world. But the thing is that if somebody has a negative intent and they have an airsoft gun or a paintball marker and it's brightly colored, it just takes a can of black spray paint and a couple of hours, and then you have something that looks like a real weapon. So who's really going to be punished here? It's not going to make a big difference to law-abiding citizens. And I mean, really, there have been a lot of safety measures already put into place. The vast majority of paintball guns used, especially for speedball, don't necessarily look like guns. Like, I can't see an NT being confused for a real gun. I can't see a Vanguard Creed or a Lux being confused for a real gun. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't take a stand against this. It's our personal freedoms that are kind of being edged away a little bit, and we need to take a stand against this. Now, if you think that I'm in another state or I'm in another country, this doesn't really matter. The NPPL, of course, has the Huntington Beach event every year. And although this wouldn't directly impact it, who's to say that, when guns are brightly colored, that there aren't going to be enough people who are going to decide not to buy them, that the companies therefore can't support the league, and therefore the league can't run events like it should. There's a huge trickle-down effect here, and we need to make sure that we act as responsible citizens and say that we don't want this legislation. We don't want these rules. They're completely asinine. They don't actually make any real sense, and no one in the community is going to be helped or protected by this. So make sure you go onto the Facebook page, get all of the information, read through it, and then contact the state representatives, because if this can happen in California, it really can happen anywhere. And I know in some other countries, you can't have paintball equipment of your own. It has to stay at the field, or it has to stay wherever, and you have to go and you have to access it there, but you can't take it off grounds, and we don't want that. And this, of course, isn't going to directly do that, but if we're willing to take one step, who's to say we aren't willing to take 5? So anyway, hop on the Facebook page, go through all of that, let's save paintball. I will talk to you guys soon.